Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another stream covering the Welsh Esports League for chess for Season 9. I'm FIDE Master Jonathan Blackburn, and obviously joined by CEO SlayerJohn. How are you today, John?
Yeah, not too bad. It's been a good day. We managed to do a lot of PR around different things happening in esports in Wales, which is quite cool. And yeah, finishing off with a bit of chess, which I've still been playing. I haven't improved, I don't think, which I'm a bit upset to say. But then I think it's down to my own fault. I have a couple of good runs when I'm sort of awake and functioning, and then I decide in the sort of early hours of the morning to go, oh yeah, that'd be a good idea. Let's play a few chess games. Yeah, normally don't go the way I'd like.
Well, the only kind of news that I'd just like to bring up just for a few seconds is you might have actually even seen it. It's made the international news all over the place. Quite sad news, actually. Unfortunately, a grandmaster from he does a lot of streaming and commentary called Daniel Naroditsky has unfortunately passed away yesterday, which is he was only 29 years old. And he was streaming, for example, on chess.com. He was one of the main commentators. Lots of people watched his videos. He was a fantastic player and a really nice guy. So yeah, I'd just like to mention him just for a second because it's a terrible loss for the chess community as well. So rest in peace, Daniel. And okay, we don't know what's going on, and we don't want to speculate either. But sorry about that. Okay, moving on to the chess. So apart from your chess, John, not improving, do we think the chess players that are playing in our tournament are going to improve?
Well, it's going to be closer games, I think, this week. I think we was looking for that sort of that third game last week. Like obviously this one they got to go to five because it's a best of five. But I think they're going to be closer games. Like I think we were looking at the dragons, both the sea dragons and the sort of yeah, dragons and the sea dragons, and then also the wolfhounds and wizards, and seeing how they compete. But looking from last week, I think it was really interesting to see seeing how they play. Welsh Tiger had a good run, and then we also seen pulling over, is it? Pulling off,
Yep.
sort of playing through. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they get off and how those games go. Wolfhounds look like the sort of underdogs because they've had a bit of a mixture of players and sort of troops. But yeah, I'm really interested in how those games go. And then obviously you've got the champions elimination where we've got rejects versus goats and two ponies versus pirates. Um, Again, we're thinking rejects and ponies going through. I thought the
Yeah.
ponies played really well last week.
Mm.
What's it?
Tutankhamun.
Yeah, that's it. Tutankhamun. Yeah, being able to play. So I thought he played really well last week, and yeah, we'll I guess see how it goes. But yeah, they're going to be interesting games. They're going to be interesting to see if players play differently,
Mm.
knowing there's five games.
Well,
Are they going to be a bit more risky
well,
starting out? Are they going to be a bit more? Yeah.
I think this is really good because over 4 games, there's a lot less. Like over 2 games, if you mess up in one game, it kind of feels like it's all over. And we saw that a bit last week in that one person they might have lost the first game, and it kind of felt like that maybe they thought, oh, well, what chance have I got in this second game? So therefore, they maybe didn't try quite as hard. Whereas over 4 games, the better players should come through. I mean, I must say that in the championship elimination here with the rejects against the goats, ponies against the pirates, the rejects and the ponies, and perhaps I suppose for the rejects and Tutankhamun for the ponies, are definitely heavy rating favourites here against Lightbringer of the goats and Jordan Carroll of the pirates. But do you know what? Anything can happen. I've been impressed by Jordan Carroll's opening play. And we also know that Lightbringer's actually been streaming as well. I don't know if he's streaming tonight. I haven't seen that. We'll have to check on that. Maybe someone in the chat can help us out. But that's a really exciting matchup. In the Premier elimination, though, this is really where the top chess is being played. And that first matchup, I'm telling you, that easily could be a final because for the Dragons, you've got Welsh Tiger. He won his group convincingly, won every single match. He did drop some half points, though, which felt like a little bit careless. And just to add some extra kind of like just seasoning on top, he's actually not in the UK at the moment. He's actually in Rhodes in Greece, playing in the European Club Cup and over the board tournament. He's just played a game today. I've just looked at his result. Unfortunately, he went down today and lost. So, we were a little bit concerned about whether he'd make it because yesterday they start at 1 o'clock and he had a 6-hour game yesterday, which would have obviously made it quite tight for 7. But he's finished now. I believe that he's playing now already. So that he's made it, but he could be quite tired. He's playing against Pedrada of the Wolfhounds, and he's an IM racing favourite, probably the strongest, definitely the strongest player in the tournament, strongest player in Welsh chess at this moment in time as well. Is he going to be able to take advantage of the Welsh Tiger being maybe a little bit jaded as he's going to come through, because they've played loads of times together, and I'm really excited to see the chess in that matchup.
Which way does it normally go when they're playing against each other?
Well, I mean, I would say that Pedrada has the edge. They actually played in the Welsh Championships this year, actually, over Easter, over the board, and they had that. Do you remember me saying about copying last time, and not to copy? Well, there was a lot of comments in the chat that I saw afterwards where people saying, this is a variation, this is how our game went last time round. And yeah, they did have a game in that variation last time round, which was playable, and that went Pedrada's way. So I would say he was the favourite for this match, just based on the fact he's slightly higher rated and also probably less tired. But then again, he does have kids and he's got a full-time job as well. So who knows what's going on when these people play against each other. And then the other one, Bulanov against Decodes, that's going to be an interesting one. So I'm interested to see what Decode comes out with, because he could pull up a surprise. But Bulanov's still I would say the heavy favourite to actually win that. But I'm interested to see what openings these guys are playing, because they're not actually just coming into this cold, John. They're actually looking at what their opponent plays, and they will prepare a set of openings that they think, as white and as black, what am I going to do before the game's even started? So there might even be some home cooked preparation that's being brought out here. I'm going to play this specific opening against you because I know you're not very good against it, or statistically it gets me an attack. We want to be aggressive early on. Does that make sense, John?
Yeah. I think there's it's really interesting to sort of see how they set up that, and how especially sort of planning, I guess, for your opponent, what strategies they're going to use, what strategies you're going to use, and sort of seeing how that can work through.
Yeah, I mean, it's all the time, right? This is people think that they just see a chess game. It might only last like, I don't know, 1 hour or something like that. But actually, there could be like 3-4 hours of preparation before, and maybe even more for some people. And then significantly, the analysis afterwards as well. It's quite a long time. We see already here. Go on.
Sorry to stop you there. Before we jump into this game, I've just had a ping through saying we're getting a bit of feedback on the mic. So if we can have a sort that, and then you can jump in and run through the games.
Yeah, sure. Do you want me to go to an intermission just quickly?
Yeah, if that's okay. And then we will jump in with the games.
Okay, so welcome back, John. Just going to test the sound if people in the Twitch chat could help us out.
Hopefully people can hear me now, but probably not.
No, I don't think they will be able to, will they?
No. So they can hear me now, but I don't know if it's picking up that feed, so muddling that through.
So have they confirmed on Twitch chat that it is still doubling?
Hello. Just going to set of tests. Sorry, guys. Hopefully, we will be with you with chess quite soon. And then, yes, it goes. It sounded all right from my side. So if we crack on with that, and then I'll see what people come back with, and we can go from there.
Yeah, sure. Okay. So, well, let's go back into the gameplay then and see actually what happened, what's going on, because we've already got this kind of end game between Welsh Tiger and Pedrada, where Pedrada's already a pawn up here and trying to convert this. It's quite a difficult convert because of the opposite color bishops. So I'm just going to actually see what the opening was actually, because literally, I said, oh, it was going to be the copying opening. I'm sure he did knight takes e5 before, but Welsh Tiger here. This is what Pedrada surprised him with in the Welsh Championships over Easter, and the variation that they played was this one. And of course, there's the well-known trick here: if you move your knight, then White wins Black's queen with this discovered check. But actually, the main line nowadays, and it's only recently over the past few years become popular, that actually you kind of like win the knight back because now there's a pin here going down this way. But White's able to keep the pawn unless they take this way and they take this way. And White's a pawn up, but Black starts to get quite a lot of activity. And I don't even know whose course it is. I don't believe it myself. Maybe those in the chat will disagree with me. We'll have a little laugh about it, but I just don't see this as a serious opening. But we surprised him with it, and therefore Welsh Tiger didn't win the pawn at the time. He chose to play something different. I can't remember at what point. I'll have to look at it. But here he's chosen to go different on move 3 and play this move d4, which is not a surprise. It's still perfectly fine. And we actually go into mainline Petrov, which he actually played last week here. And what actually happened here? This looks like he did this completely wrong. So bishop b4 for Pedrada, takes, check, castles with check, king c6. He kind of did this against me, Pedrada did, and over the board game. The king actually... it's actually perfectly safe there, which is really crazy and really, really unusual. So sorry, I've actually just said this completely wrong. It's Welsh Tiger who's got the advantage. I don't know why I was saying it was Pedrada. And he's got an extra pawn, and I don't know. I don't think he's going to convert this. I think the opposite color bishops will make this a draw.
Yeah, playing a draw for first game.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I don't think. I don't think it's. I don't think it's. I don't think
this is game one, right? We're watching game one with these two.
Yeah, I believe so. They haven't really had enough time to do anything else. Let's just have a quick flick over as well then. So we've also got Bullenov playing, haven't we? Okay, so let's load everybody up. It's just decided to go slowly for me. Loads him up. So I know that he's actually traveling at the moment. So Decode maybe has a bit of an opportunity there.
Which is Decode played quite well last week. And he had some difficult opponents, so it'd be really interesting having that edge. I might be able to take it.
Yeah, I mean, he played that kind of friendly game in a way, didn't he, against Pedrada, and actually thought he played quite well, considering the rating difference that there is between them. So here, you can even look at the ratings here; they're both just over 2,000, so very similar. And look at the time ticking down. I believe that Major Coast is Bulanov, by the way, playing black here. It's actually equal material. There's not really much in it. I mean, this extra black pawn over here is actually compensated by the white pawn on e3. So white's got a more kind of solid setup, but what black has got this pawn, which could, if that pawn gets motoring, it's going to be a really dangerous pawn. I guess the other thing to say is that this rook is quite a menace here, kind of pinning the knight to the king. But I mean, it's like it doesn't feel like white's pieces are completely trapped either. At the same time, the bishop's attacking the weakness on d5, the queen's quite active, the rook's on an open file. It's this is anybody's game. Absolutely anybody's game.
If they push ahead with that queen attacking the pawn on was it a7, and even be able to sort of push on then with the rook as well, can sort of really attack that king.
Yeah, they're not really getting at the black king at the moment. I think that's probably the difference, is that black's king, even if you take that pawn, give some checks in the back rank or anything like that, the black king's going to be perfectly safe on that g7 square, mainly as well because white's only got the light square bishop. So you're not going to be able to attack this king too easily at the moment. Whereas white's king, you can already start to see like it's just moved out of the way of this pin. The rook and the queen are kind of looking down on it. Just can't quite get the bishop and knight involved though at the moment. It's like, they're just not in there, and I'm intrigued to see how this pans out. Actually, only a couple of minutes left, but maybe we should check in the championship games because they might have even finished potentially by now.
We've I know the Lightbringer his opponent doesn't turned up. So unfortunately for Praps, I suppose, it looks like they haven't been about. So in doing so, that looks like it's a bye, so they get a free pass to the finals.
Oh, that's a surprise. I thought perhaps I suppose would turn up for that one. Didn't hear anything for that. I guess the only thing that maybe might have been a bit confusing is Tutankhamun playing as well against Jordan Carroll. Why are they not playing?
Should be.
I think the only thing is with it being us talking about the who qualified from the top two. I'm just wondering if there's maybe miscommunication that they didn't think because they didn't finish in the top two, therefore they didn't qualify.
Into the championships, and then didn't think thought the championships and premierships were the same. You mean?
Yeah. So I mean, I put in the Discord chat as well that there would 3A plays against 4B and such like, but I think that might be the reason why they did. Potentially might have got confused there, but perhaps. But I'm only guessing there. Maybe it's just I don't know why. Maybe it's just randomness.
Yeah. Well, Tutankhamun's online. So let's have a look. Let's see.
Is he in Twitch or is he in Discord?
In Discord.
Let's just see what's being said. Try and get those guys playing. Okay, so let me just make this one focus mode as well. Yeah, because this game versus Decode versus Bulanov, it's really he's fallen for a trick. Fallen for a trick here. Queen f5 set up this tactic. Queen attacks the rook, which is defended by the knight, but the rook's going to sack itself for the knight here. He takes a pawn. Why did he take that pawn in the first place instead of queen takes? So what's his plan? Let's say just queen takes bishop. What was his plan? Was he maybe just going to take this pawn next? Perhaps, maybe. But rook takes knight here. And now this means that the queen's going to take the rook on b1 here. Decode's got himself in a little bit of trouble. Only 20 seconds left. Could this be first blood to Bulanov?
He's only got 16 seconds.
Yeah, I know. He's got to move. He gets 5 seconds increment though, right? And remember, these guys, they are used to playing. Oh, that's a lovely little intermezzo move, so we can take the rook with check. Beautiful. He didn't just take the rook straight away. He gave a check first to drive the king to the back rank, so it was check again. And now that black queen's just hoovering up everything. The king can't really get away. And mind you, it's not that simple. Oh, that was poor by Deco. But then again, with only 18 seconds left now.
Yeah, he's always going to be after. He haven't got a lot of time on his side.
It was lost then anyway. So he's a piece down here, and he's going to go down because the extra piece at this level is quite cool. But the key moments there, like he sacks the rook for the knight, king takes rook. If he takes the rook straight away, then actually this queen can either take the knight or take the bishop and everything else. But he intercedes this move, and the king can't come back to protect the rook because of the bishop. So then when he takes the rook now, it's check, which is really key. The king comes forward, he gives another check because he wants to take this pawn with check, which would defend the bishop as well. But the king, I thought it could come out to f3, but it can't, because now we go queen here check and we take the bishop next go. And it doesn't matter. Go on.
The bishop move, I was a bit sort of surprised at. And then is it just because of attacking, to look at attacking, bring the queen to take the knight and then bringing the bishop up to sort of check the king from that scenario, or bring the queen across then to try to force the king in the corner?
Are you talking about this position? Are you talking about this position here?
Yeah. Well, like moving that bishop up. Is it because it's trying to because was it the white queen then to d7? Like, I know we can't do that when the queen's there, but obviously you look at an attacking side, and then the white queen across to f7, which would be covered by the bishop. So the king has got to move into h8 and then moving down to f8 then for checkmate.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to say that this would happen, but I think it's very unlikely that this was his idea, because he knew that when he did bishop takes here. Actually, I think this was a bit of a desperate move, because I think it's a sacrifice. I think he was expecting queen takes bishop here, and then the queen's still guarding the knight, so you can't take that. But I think he just maybe wanted just to take this pawn and say, I've sacked a piece for 2 pawns, and actually these 2 pawns coming forward could be really dangerous. They could be. I still think black's winning here, by the way. I don't think it's a good sacrifice, but I think it was because his king was just under so much pressure and he just wanted a way out. He wanted to sacrifice pieces and get some play. He was tired of defending, and as we can see there, we didn't see the end, but black won. Bulanov's got the first blood there, so he's taken an early lead there in this matchup. And piece up, it was always going to happen. I think this pawn's coming down, right? So they're playing again. Let's just have a look what's happening over here. Pedrada in the tank, 43 seconds left. 47 seconds now. Hang on, let's just refresh this game. There we go. So we've moved on a little bit.
So the big player under pressure. Well, it doesn't look like he's too much under pressure. Yeah, it looks like he's...
Not anymore. I don't know how this has happened, how we've got to this situation. I'm pretty sure white was a pawn up before, and now black's a pawn up. How did that reversal happen? We might have to go back and look at that. But Welsh Tiger always seems to have time on the clock.
Yeah. It must be like whether he plays fast at the start or...
Yeah, well, I think maybe he could have invested a bit more time earlier on to make, when he was a pawn up, to make sure he doesn't be a pawn down, because he's lost 2 pawns somehow. And I must admit, the way the pawns are situated, I think Pedrada could win this. He's not going to be bothered about the time, by the way. 5-second increment extra per move is loads. Remember, we're used to playing in there's such a thing on chess.com called Title Tuesday, usually around 9 o'clock at night on the Tuesday it's on. It was also on earlier today at 4 o'clock. They cancelled the late one now. It's only on at 4 o'clock UK time. And that time control is 3 minutes plus 1 second per move. So we're kind of used to either playing 3+1 or 3+2 when we're playing Blitz online. So plus 5 seconds is like, God, we've got eternity to move. What are you on about?
Yeah.
Which is, we wanted to see some quality chess, that's why. And great to see them both under a minute, though, now.
Yeah.
Because this is the reason why I mentioned that the pawns were a bit dubious is because, I mean, first of all, this guy is like, it feels like that pawn's lost. So I don't understand why he didn't take it, actually. Was there a reason why he didn't take it then?
No, well, I couldn't see any reason why.
He might be just using
Again,
it to
I
shield his
still,
king.
is it using it just to sort of protect his king from check?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's potential kind of check this way to take this pawn. The rook was stopping it beforehand. Things like that. I mean,
There you go.
okay,
Yeah.
there we go now, but it's still going to be two pawns here, and this is going to be a really difficult hold for Welsh Tiger, especially when you're under a minute. Pedrada's going to be able to make move after move after move. You can make 49 moves without making a pawn move. If you make 50 moves without making a pawn move or a capture, then it's a draw. So he could really mess with Welsh Tiger here. I think he's going to take this pawn here. He could make 49 moves here now, just constantly keeping the pressure up, and Welsh Tiger's constantly on edge, trying to draw it. So and then he moves a pawn.
Oh,
Yeah. That check's not winning anything, I'm afraid. It's impossible to take anything, right? The pawn defends the bishop defends this pawn, the bishop defends the pawn back. So actually, White can never take these pieces. He can just maybe give checks with his bishop and rook. That's all he can do. The only thing Welsh Tiger can do to definitely draw this, and that's again going to be that could be a dodgy move. It's going to be risky. Is that if he swaps rooks, the opposite color bishops, that should definitely be drawn. But Pedrada's really going to push this because after 49 moves have gone, okay, he might not count it perfectly, but then he can move the pawn once. Then he plays another 49 moves, right? And then he moves the pawn again. Then he plays. Now that's something that we'd probably do in long play because we're playing and he's only got 20 seconds left. He's thinking, let's get on with it. Let's get this pawn marching up the board because this is the pawn that's going to win in the game. Because this guy's not going anywhere with the king here, so he marches this guy forward, tries to put his opponent under pressure. This is a tense endgame because these two, they're capable of beating each other. They both respect each other as well. Really big matchup. I'm just going to check in to see if the other games are starting.
I think we're only going to have the 2 games by looks things, which is a shame, rather than the 4. Obviously, Lightbringer was here ready to play, so that will be a bye. If the other game, both of them hasn't turned up, so Tukan and Jordan Carroll, we'll probably look to get that game played during the week.
Okay.
And then sort of set that up then, who goes through to the finals.
Whoa. What happened here? F5, rook up, rook down, check, king takes pawn, F4, king up, rook here, bishop moves, rook takes pawn. He's held it. This is going to just be a draw. Well, it should be a draw. I mean, there's mistakes that have been made here, but this should be a dead draw. I mean, if he wins from this position, he's going to be furious. Pedrada is, because he knows he had Welsh Tiger on the ropes there, and this should be an easy draw. Even if one of them was to lose a bishop, it's still technically a draw. Even though that's obviously significantly harder, you obviously don't give away your bishop. They should be agreeing the draw here. Let's flick over to the other game just for a second. What was the opening here? So this is okay. So this is Bulanov against Decode. Now I'm pretty sure didn't Decode plays as white b4, right? The orangutan.
Decode's on black, yeah.
Yeah, and here he's black and he's played b5. This is dubious, but maybe this is what he's prepared. If he's done this before and he does this regularly, though, Bulanov will be prepared for this. So this is a very dangerous opening to play. If it's a surprise, he's never done it before. Good on him. If he's done it beforehand, though, Bulanov will have looked at his games and will be prepared for this. So this is very, very testing. And if you ask me, the opening's been pretty standard, to be honest. Maybe Bulanov's a little happier, but typical kind of Bulanov position, actually, a bit kind of dry. But we start to see some aggression now with this F4 pawn move. And we reach this position here, both with 8 minutes on the clock. What are your thoughts on this, John?
Well, from my side, I think it's sort of, it looks like fairly standard, it's quite back and forth. Like looking at the board is very much open for both of them on our setup, and with the the rook rooks are kind of back on the kings. Kind of you've got the two queens either side, opposite end of the boards, sort of kind of a bit of a mirror setup for them. When I'm always in this position, I'm always looking for. Sometimes I just go, well, I can just take something and trade, and then force like that battle in the middle,
Yeah.
just to sort of alleviate it, and then hopefully they make a mistake over me making one. But yeah, interesting where they've brought out two rooks on that left hand side for black Tico.
Yeah, I mean it's the only open file for the rook as well, so you're going to see really decode kind of maybe even pushing this pawn and pushing this pawn, attacking down the queen side. Whereas you can already see that white's pieces are kind of lined up this way already. You know, the knight's kind of in this vicinity, the pawn on f4 is helping. You know, currently defended by this knight on f6. So you might see kind of this kind of flipping kind of attack where white's going to go down the king side, black might go down the queen side. This rook e2 move, really nice little shimmy by Bulanov here as he defends his pawn on b2 from the side rather than behind. You defend it from behind, your rook doesn't do anything. Whereas this rook now can, if this, if it wants to come across, if it wants to stay there, if he maybe wants to bring the other rook behind it, or maybe even wants to bring it to g2 once the g pawn moves, it can be a defensive piece and an aggressive piece at the same time. So this is going to look like a typical kingside attack for Bulanov. I'm just going to check back to see if that other game was a draw, by the way. So are they still playing? These guys are nuts. Hang on. Yeah, so nobody's actually won anything. These guys are crazy. This is an interesting moment, though, here.
I think you was right in regards to the players not realizing that we have a championships elimination as well as the premiership. Looking at the chat, so Tukan Kamoon messaged and said, "Oh, I didn't realize I was playing." So we'll see if we can get him to play during the week. So at least sort of there's a progression then into the championships one.
Yeah. Okay.
Are they still playing?
These are still going, and we're just going to stick with it for a second because it's just become an interesting moment. Because there's a checkmate here coming, and he's had to give. Oh wow! So hang on, I'm just trying to work out who's who here. So Pedrada's black here. Welsh Tiger had the checkmate threat on him. It's now rook versus bishop. Now rook versus bishop is still a theoretical draw, John. It should be relatively straightforward. But with 20...
the bishop, if they always stay on sort of the dark squares, your bishop being on like they can't ever check.
Yeah, well, I mean, the bishop's never going to win this, right? The bishop's never going to win. The rook's trying to win. So there is, I mean, this actually happened in the Welsh Championships. It wasn't these two players playing. It was actually a guy called Johan Rees who played against, was it Sam Dukes? I can't remember exactly. Maybe the Twitch chat can help me there. But he actually played on king and rook versus king and bishop. And we're just thinking, why is he playing on for? It's just a draw. And he actually did win it with the king and rook. There's so many really technical, and I would actually also use the word beautiful kind of compositions where it's like it looks like an innocuous position and 10 move forcing line wins the game. So this has already gone from, what a topsy-turvy encounter. The Welsh Tiger was ahead by a pawn. Pedrada came back, was ahead by a pawn, pushing to win. Lost both pawns into a rook and bishop endgame, which should have been drawn, easily drawn. Missed this checkmate threat, had to give the rook to the bishop, and now the Welsh Tiger is pushing to win. But I don't know if he can actually win this. And it's going to take him a long time, by the way, as well. So we should probably switch back to see what's going on in the other game. Or just, did you have any thoughts on this, John?
Before I do? I would have thought this would end up just being a draw. So, like, from the scenario, like, I would have thought it's very difficult to get that, because you're going to have to get that king into the corner, right, to be able to get a checkmate.
The side of the board is obviously the corner's best, but the side of the board is where the tricks start to happen if you can drive it there.
Okay.
But I mean, it is very difficult. I mean, like for example, there he wanted to play king here so he can give the check here to drive the king backwards, but he has to avoid the square because the bishop's on it. So, and I'm not so sure that he's going to win this. But do you know what? It just shows that these players are that they're not playing perfect chess. Time's ticking down and they're making mistakes, as was proven if you read the write-up for those that are watching. in the write-ups when you analyse the games, actually there was some serious mistakes made by these guys, and Pedrada definitely gave chances to his opponent. The Welsh Tiger dropped half a points against some of his opponents too. This is where we're going to start to see some craziness. But Pedrada knows that he's actually gone to the right coloured corner. If he goes to a light squared corner, he's actually in danger of losing. Very much it's lost. But because he's in a dark squared corner, it's actually a bit better for him to draw. But it's not trivial at all. I can't say. Oh, it's stalemated him. Stalemated him. Draw. Game over. What a match. He didn't. I mean, maybe that was an accidental stalemate, but it should have been a draw anyway. But wow. So hang on. The first game between these two, John, have we done this right? Because the first game between these two lasted 38 minutes.
Well, okay. Well, it means if they go to the fifth game, it's going to be a very interesting night. But yeah, it's a good opener.
Yeah, definitely a good opener. I mean, wow, that's if you want me to analyze that one for the report, maybe I'll skip to a quicker game, perhaps. I don't know. I'm not going to analyze every move of that one, but maybe the key moments are going to be really important to look at. But yeah, wow, what an opening match between these two. Both of them would have been top two favourites for the whole title at the start of the tournament. They're playing in the semi-finals of the top bracket. Okay, back to Bulanov against Deco's. Bulanov 1-0 up here already, remember, so doesn't even need to win anymore. He could just try and force 3 more draws. So I know he's not going to take that many risks.
So, what do you mean? He's going to try to play for draws?
No, he's not going to deliberately play for a draw. But what he's going to do is he's not going to be upset if it is a draw. So he's still going to try and win the game. I mean, here as well, you look at this type of position. But I'm also looking at the clock there, John. Deco's time is drifting. I really love seeing players use their time to think of better moves. But maybe it's just a little too much time here. And by the way, I think Bulanov's just actually literally got off a plane not so long ago. I think he's actually in China.
Oh wow!
So I've got a message from him. I said, "Are you in China now?" And he says, "Yes, literally just arrived at accommodation, so a reasonable sleep now before kickoff." But that was, I think that was a while ago. So he's maybe had a little nap when he arrived and then woken up or something.
Ready for this?
Yeah, ready for this. Yeah, I mean, he told me early doors he was going to be playing at like 2 a.m. Chinese time or something like that. Crazy for this match. So we got the Welsh Tiger in Greece. We've got Bulanov in China. I mean, it's a bit of an international thing going on.
Well, we say the Welsh Esports League is international. We're bringing it from all over, which is good to see.
Yeah. I think Deco's using his time here, by the way, because I mean, it's just so dangerous when you've got all the heavy pieces looking at your king. The bishop and knight are involved as well. There could be sacrifices all over the place here.
Well, it's heavily pushed on that, like Deco on that sort of left-hand side. It's going to be interesting to see if he pushes them with those rooks. Queen rooks.
The thing is, though, there's no targets there, and Bulanov's done the sack that I saw. Look at this sacrifice here. So we look at this. Are you even bothered if you lose that pawn? Your king's not there. Your king's over here. So actually, the queen side attack's not actually done to anything. Knight h7 is a big mistake because of this sacrifice that Bulanov's played, and he's broken through the ranks. He takes the rook, and I'm pretty sure Bulanov's just going to take all this stuff now. He's got 2 pawns and a knight for the rook, which is kind of a little bit about equal, but it's all about the state of that black king.
Why wouldn't you bring in down the queen then to hit to check the king? If you go back a couple of moves. No, go back a couple of from c7 to c1.
C7 to c1. Well, it can just get blocked by the rook, defended by the queen, and the rook's also guarding the knight as well. So then you're going to have to move your queen again if you don't want to lose it, and you can't because this would have been checkmate. So it's a good spot because you have to look for those checks, but because he can block with the rook, then it's kind of just wasted. But this here is interesting here at this point because he does bishop takes pawn check. I'm just wondering how dangerous was knight takes d5 here with the rook pinning the pawn to the king. But then again, maybe then your queen c7 check would be quite good and just gives black some counterplay. So actually, where are we up to then here? So the king comes out. Oh, it's game over. It looks like it's game over. Oh, checkmate. Absolutely. So it's 2-0 to Bulanov. He's cruising. And I'll tell you what, Decode is Bulanov will have prepped for B4. He would have prepped like a week ago for B4. He knew he was playing Decode. He knows what to do here as Black. He would have looked at this line. And he only needs a draw to get through to the next round.
Yeah.
Do they play all 4 games if somebody gets to like 3 points or 2.5 points?
If it's 2.5 points, they'll have to play more games. So like the best of 5, so they would need to get 3 at least, or whatever that is. So if they play, if they've played sort of 4 games, but there's been 2 draws, as such, if it can still balance, they still got to play to the 5th game.
So they only go to the 5th game if it's 2-2, right?
No, because it could go 1-1, because it could have 2 draws.
Okay, 2 draws and then 1-1, or 4 draws, so it's 0-0.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But here though, Bulanov's got he's 2 up already.
Yeah. So he
one
gets
more draw, then he's through,
if he gets,
right?
No, because if he gets a draw, it could be, well, it could be
You can't.
2.5. So then he would have to go to 5, the 5th game. It potentially could go to the 5th game.
But how would that be the case? They've only got 4 games to play, right? And if he's 1-2,
no, it's best of 5.
No, it's not.
Is it not?
It says best of 5, but the 5th game is an Armageddon.
Yeah. So you mean if it draws off the first 2?
So after the first, well, hang on a minute. Oh, I thought they were playing 4 games of 10 plus 5.
Rules probably need to be updated for next season.
Yeah, they definitely do. Let's just say they. Yeah, I thought it was best of 4 for 10 plus 5 because.
Yeah.
And then the 5th game's an Armageddon if it's drawn at that point.
If it's draw, yeah, makes sense. Like you potentially could draw again, but then you'd have to have 6 games, so that wouldn't really work.
No, I think 4 games, 10 plus 5, and then if it's 2-2, then you go to Armageddon. Or we would class half a point as actually a half a point. I know it's not classed as a win. You could have 1-1, 0-0, whatever it case. Okay, back to Pedrada against Welsh Tiger. So Pedrada's got the white pieces here, and he will be fuming with himself. And Welsh Tiger is also a decent note. Then here we get a King's Indian from the Welsh Tiger. With this setup with this Fianchetto here, and kind of like a Fianchetto variation by Pedrada. He's well known for doing putting his bishops here and here, and it's extremely dangerous to play against. This bishop f5 move is really good. The idea is to swap off some pieces on the e4 square. So we'll see how this pans out. And you see here how White's last move was rook e1. So his plan was to push e4. He's not going to allow that, which is why the knight came in. And they are both well versed in these kind of structures, and we just see the pawn structure change there, John. Do you know much about pawn structures?
No. I tried to cover them, so I tried to have a setup so, like for something like this, you're making sure that it's difficult for someone to take sort of your pawns sort of in regards to it's difficult to get through as such. Something which you're kind of marking and doing it from that side, and how you can sort of build that up. But I don't know the different ones or the best way to sort of set them up.
Yeah, I mean, there are some structures that have got names and stuff, but I mean, generally, so for example, look at black structure here on white. These are the kind of key points here. So these pawns are on the same line, so they're classed as double pawns, which is generally seen as not very good. They can be good though as well, because we never say never in chess. We always kind of like get to this point where we have this general rule: double pawns are not very good. But then you find about a million cases where they're actually fine. So there's always the rules can always be broken, but usually these aren't as good. And for example, this pawn here, because this pawn's been dragged along, this pawn on h7 is kind of isolated. It's not really relevant at this stage of the game. Likewise over here for white, this pawn on a2 is also isolated. Again, not relevant at this stage of the game. But maybe, for example, this pawn could be attacked, or maybe later on you'll see that these 2 pawns be attacked by black. So it's a long-term thing that's going on there. And that change of pawn structure is quite important. It also opens up some files. So Black can't really make use of this open G file, but you see here White making use of the open B file because this pawn has been dragged over towards the center, which is also important because they're also controlling more central squares by doubling their pawns towards the center. So yeah, really interesting here. Was this a pawn sack here with D5? It's an interesting move. Takes.
But
yeah, so White won a pawn there. Pedrada did. I'm surprised by that.
Oh, trades of the rooks.
Yeah, so this is how Pedrada would win games normally. He'd go a pawn up, and then he's also got the bishop pair. So he's just going to try and win this endgame. And bishop f1 is just trying to play c4, swap off some more pawns, and he's trying to just win this with an extra pawn. Notice how completely different to the Bulanov versus Deco game where there's sacrifices to win. These guys are playing proper chess. They're taking this super seriously, and that's what we want, right? Two of the top players in Welsh chess taking it seriously online for the Welsh Esports League.
Yeah, they won the championship, didn't they? They both of them won the finals. The first ever Welsh Esports League chess tournament.
They
definitely won the league.
Oh, they definitely do. I played against. I played against both of them numerous times, and Welsh Tiger is an interesting way to play against him. When I think I was losing and I held a draw against him, and he was like so like pent up with it. But the best one has got to be Pedrada, because you talk to this guy in real life, and I'm telling you, he's one of the nicest guys you'll ever talk to. He really is. He came into Welsh chess a few years ago. He's got a young family. He's originally from Spain, traveled to Korea, came over to Wales to be a lecturer, and one of the nicest guys to come over. He speaks so nicely, but when you sit down opposite him on the board, oh my God, this guy, right? You start to just see the focus come in, the laser focus. That you can tell that all of his energy is there at the board trying to beat you. And like when he held me to a draw in the Welsh Championships, like beforehand, I offered him a draw. He was like, no, he'd play it on. It was a dead draw, but he didn't want one because he wanted to play on for the win. And he takes big risks. I've seen him take big risks in games against lower rated players just to try and beat them because he doesn't want to draw with them. And he risks losing. And in the first game, actually, that I saw him play was the South Wales International tournament over the board. Who was this guy? Never seen him before. I played him a few rounds later, but in the first round, he lost to somebody who was lower rated than him because he was offering him draws, the lower rated player was. Pedrada tried too hard to win and actually lost the game. But here he obviously respects the Welsh Tiger and is not going to be taking too many risks like that. But he's got the advantage here, though.
Yeah, well, it looks like a strong setup. It's like the knight is a bit weaker this late in the game, right?
Yeah, that's why the two bishops are a bit more powerful. As the pawns start to get swapped off, it's going to be good. I really like it. I set, for example, this is White's extra pawn here, this pawn on c3. If he plays pawn to c4, though, when Black captures, which Black will, by the way, Black won't let the pawn get to this square, because if it gets to c5, it's going to be a protected pass pawn, and only obviously 3 squares from queening. So he's gonna have to swap off. He'll take back with the bishop. The reason why he's not doing that is because this knight will actually find this square on d5 as an outpost, potentially. And so therefore he doesn't want to give this knight any good squares to come into. Notice, like, if you pick this knight up, where could you place this knight on the board that's actually good? And apart from like impossible squares like back here, for example, there's nothing in the center. He can't go here. White won already. He resigns. What? He resigned in this position? This a5 pawn.
Wait, what? White resigned, or White?
No, Black resigned. Black resigned.
Okay.
Black resigns. Wow. I mean, I wasn't expecting a resignation there, but literally because this pawn here on a5 is gone. It can't move anyway.
So that his pawn can just walk in then.
Because the two bishops are just going to control every single square. The knight can't. The knight just can't quite get over. For example, it'll just stop it. So if the knight came to this square, then this bishop would actually move into here, where it covers both of the knight squares, which would be this one and this one. So the knight can't get in to help out, and the dark square bishop would actually take this pawn and actually just come to here to swap itself off for this bishop, and then this pawn would have a completely clear run going forward. That would be. I can understand the resignation there. People might think it's a little bit too soon, only 1 or 2 pawns down, but actually, it's I can understand it there at that point. Wow, amazing! These two have got 2 more games to play. It's only 1-0 to Pedrada at the moment, which is really interesting. Hang on a minute. Have these guys? Okay, this is the switching back here to Decode versus
So Decode on white on this one, yeah.
Yeah, Decode's white here. Yeah. How is the sound now, by the way? Has that been fixed? Or has it fixed itself?
I haven't. I've been told I was a bit quiet, but like as long as they can hear me, I prefer to be a bit more quiet than having to come through twice. So hopefully it's okay. And yeah, it's sort of running okay. So yeah, see how it goes.
Yeah, I mean it's just one of those things. It's also like the first time we run this, just people not turning up for their 3rd and 4th place playoffs eliminations. Then we learn from these things. We know to run it next time to be a little bit better as well. This is what do you think about this position actually?
Well, there you go. I was going to say the two knights sitting in the middle there, quite pushing in. And I think white is going on a full-on attack for that. Yeah, but it's going to be struggling to see how they'd get in.
Yeah, I think this opening's definitely gone Decode's way. Black's got some threats right at this moment in time, but he would not have, his opening preparation would not have allowed this knight to c6 guarded by a pawn and also guarded by another knight. This has definitely gone wrong. Black's maybe got the more immediate threats at the moment. It's quite a simple one, which is bishop takes h2. I mean, I was actually just looking here if maybe we call this the Greek gift sacrifice. The story of Troy and the Trojan horse.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same thing here where we have kind of this kind of pattern with the bishop, knight, and queen. The bishop comes down to give check. The king takes the bishop, and then we could bring in the knight in check. The king comes back, and then we go queen to here. And actually, this checkmate's really difficult to stop. Unfortunately, though, mid variation there was a big mistake. And actually, when the knight comes in check, it doesn't work because the queen can just take the knight. So it was never going to work. But it's kind of like things like that are in the air. This is a very volatile position where anything can happen. And actually, Decode, do you know what? This guy, I said in one of my write-ups that he was described to me as dangerous. Right? He looks for complications at every opportunity. He really does. Like most people here, right? They see this threat and they're just like, oh, don't want my king to be attacked and checked here. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to defend that. They'll play something along the lines of g3 or f4 and prevent the bishop from coming in. Not Decode. He just does
goes
not
on the
care.
attack.
Oh, he just says, "I'll take a pawn, thank you very much." Bulanov's got a bit of a choice here of what to do. Does he go for?
Would you take with when your knight's in that position? Would you look to take that rook and then trade it with a knight at this stage?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. 100%. A rook's worth more than a knight or a bishop. If you can win the exchange, definitely worth it. It's whether white's got the time to do it. How fast is black's attack here? Because there's a lot of checks coming in now. In fact, I can see some forcing variations where I'm not going to calculate it all to the end. Although I know Bulanov's not watching anyway, so it doesn't matter too much. But there's a lot of checks here that can happen. In fact, what is going on there? Check. So I'm just trying. There's a long variation here, which is just so forcing. What? Oh, hang on. What is going on? Does that even win? No, I don't think it does win. But I'll show you afterwards after a few moves have been played, just in case.
Yeah. Just in case they're listening.
Yeah, I mean, for example, Decode, so aggressive, allowing this bishop h2 check on the board, very dangerous. But yet again, he's got some threats here. He's got a discovered attack on the black queen. He's also got knight taking the rook. So Bulanov's got some choices to make. Does he just play like a simple move like rook a8 and just say, do you know what? You can do a discovered attack on my queen. I don't care. I'll just move my queen away. And then at the end of that, I'm going to be threatening the bishop that you tried to sacrifice and also the knight. but maybe Deco's just getting a few too many pawns there, which is why you see Bulanov going into the tank here, and he's starting to dwindle his time down. And this is
with that, like if you put in that knight in from was it d4 to e6, like when you move the knight there, you've like they're going to be sacrificing the knight just for that position.
Well, I mean, do you mean bishop to e6?
Well, either one, but you're going to lose that quite quickly.
Yeah, well, the point of the bishop is that the rook's attacking the queen then. So, you know, if this rook wasn't here and it was only defended by one pawn, then you could consider the piece for 2 pawn sacrifice. So if knight takes, pawn takes, and then bishop takes, or bishop takes, pawn takes, knight takes, whichever way around you want to do it, you could definitely do that because you're exposing the black king a little bit. Black's pieces are kind of like a little bit clumsily placed as you start to attack them. Your knights and bishops attack the rooks, for example. Your rooks attack the queen. That's definitely something. But here, the sack here just by itself doesn't work because the rook's on e8 also guarding it. But it's something like, for example, if he goes rook a8, bishop takes e6 here, the queen's under attack, probably wants to save that. So let's just suppose he goes defensive and goes, let's say queen e7 actually is probably the best move. And then he's like, well, what do I save? Because both of these pieces are under attack now. And there are tricks and things he can do, like knight to here, for example, actually attacks the queen. You know, maybe he can give the bishop up for another pawn, and when he gets, because it's check, and when he gets taken, then he saves the knight, and he's got 3 pawns now for the bishop. But which is better though, 3 pawns or a bishop?
At this stage, I would probably take the bishop, but I wouldn't know.
Yeah, I mean, it does hugely depend on the position. That's the thing. That's the beauty of chess. Some positions it's going to be the 3 pawns, some positions it's going to be the bishop. I think probably here the bishop though, because there's too many pieces on the board. The checkmate threats against the white king will be too strong. So I'm just wondering whether we're alive. Oh, bishop h2 has been played. He's gone for this variation, and king h and actually, and after king h1, see, he went knight c5. I was really looking at these checks, like another sacrifice, just for fun. And I saw a variation here, knight g3 check. He's got it. If he takes the bishop, then there's like a discovered check this way, which is crazy. So you can actually do knight takes rook, double check if you wanted to. King back, and then the queen comes in.
The queen down,
and then with the bishop also on this pawn, this looks really, really good. And so I wouldn't be going in that direction.
They could move, but the king could take the knight.
Yeah, but now we come. Do we come with the queen or the bishop? Probably the queen actually, because he can't come to here because bishop comes in. Oh no, it doesn't. The knight's on it. Doesn't the knight's on it? So maybe he is safe to go here, and this is the position that we get to. So what's the actual material here though? So it's a knight and a bishop for white against a rook and a pawn for black. Yeah, but look at the white king though. I don't believe it. Look at the white king. I mean, even here, maybe something like e5 has got loads of threats associated with it because the knight can't move off this square because of the bishop coming in, and that would win the queen. So we'd have to go like knight here then, and these knights are actually tripping over one another. They're very clumsily placed. It doesn't make sense to go for this, especially when you can just do pawn takes knight here. But the funny thing I was looking at was bishop takes g2 now, which is even like ridiculously aggressive. And if he takes it, then we can bring the queen in here. But it's kind of like a bit of nothing. Like the queen comes back, and we've got some sort of discovered check. I just don't think it's quite enough to win. Because even if you get the discovered check here, there's no guarantee of checkmate. Like just something simple like queen e2, and you haven't actually got any decent discovered checks. So it was just a fun variation, to be honest. So I'm maybe he's played it more safe and played knight c5. And what he actually does here as well, he stops that discovered attack that I was talking about before when the bishop moves. So maybe this is just a super clever move. Oh, he took that rook like you said at the top. And rook took back.
I'll trade that out.
And so I'm just trying to count up some pieces here because I'm a bit lost. Decode's basically winning. He's a rook for a knight up. Rook for a knight up, but his king is exposed.
It's the white queen is just sort of useless sitting there. I know he's covering the knight, but
I mean, Queen E5 is just such a, he's got a minute left, and he's running into this. He's actually pinned the knight to the bishop. There's a discovered attack of the knight moves with the bishop on the queen, but the problem is the queen will actually take the bishop. This is super brave now, because if f4 wins, this bishop on h2 is going to go. He went for this pawn, which is surprising, because I thought maybe he could try and threaten checkmate on here, but he can't. I wanted to go here, threaten checkmate here, just bishop f3, and actually where everything stopped. So it's not looking normal. He takes the bishop, and Bulanov's got to find something here. Otherwise, Decode's clawing back to make it 2-1. Bulanov's still massive advantage. But he's a whole piece down now. A whole rook. So it's got to be checkmate. Checkmate or nothing. 30 seconds left. Is he just going to take his chances in the last game?
maybe, yeah. It's a tough one to do.
I mean, to be honest, you just, as black here, you've got nothing to lose. You might as well just throw the kitchen sink at white. Take all the protection away from that king. Go for it. He's gone queen e4. Okay.
Yeah, why didn't he move his knight down?
The
bishop.
Yeah, the bishop. Yeah, the bishop. This is quite a clever move, actually, because the natural move here is bishop f3, but it allows queen takes f4 check, which wasn't on before. So quite a sneaky move here. Let's just flick back to us for a second, and I'll flip back to this game. Okay, so this game has also been quite lively, the Tiger versus Pedrada, but we're going to stick with Decode versus Bulanov at the moment.
Yeah, looking on the board, it's going to be a difficult one. Moving up, I'm surprised he didn't move his queen up and sort of try to force something. Yeah, D to D3.
Queen here to and can't come to D3 because of the knight. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Let me just refresh this actually, because this is it's not following it live anymore. I want to see the moves live. Okay, so he's maybe want to pawn back. Yeah, I mean, Decode should easily win this.
Decode's definitely listening in chat, so yeah. If he's listening to me, it's not going to help him. But
no,
yeah, he's coming back and saying proper chess. Yeah, that's what it's supposed to be.
Oh, this is supposed to be proper chess, is it?
Yeah.
Is that on Discord? Is it, or is it on?
Oh no, it's on Twitch stream. Yeah, Twitch stream.
On the Twitch stream.
But yeah, he's probably listening to a couple of tips. The benefit is I'm not giving any.
Well, we'll just let you commentate on the chess then.
Well, he took that rook. He must have been listening to something.
Yeah, but I mean, that was an obvious thing to see. It was you weren't helping him there. Don't worry.
No. Wait, I'm sure most of the stuff, which I say probably won't be much of a benefit for it.
But the thing is, though, it's at this stage, the players are evenly matched. It would be a bit of a shame to see a 4-0.
Yeah.
Rather than a, but here we get into 2-1, and all of a sudden pressure on that last game. If Deco can win it, he takes it to that tiebreaker, to that Armageddon tiebreaker.
It will be our first tiebreaker of the season.
Yeah, ever.
We haven't had one yet. Yeah,
we haven't. I mean, I've got no idea how we've managed to avoid it, because there were actually quite a few draws. Surprisingly, there was more draws than I expected actually in the matches. But people winning 1.5, which was obviously classed as a 1-0.
Yeah.
Decode's just not really putting Bulanov to bed here. I wanted to see this game finish like crisp and cleanly. Got himself under 1 minute. His time's looking in red. This is where just a few kind of Bulanov's, he's got chances, right? He's got a sniff at the moment. It shouldn't be there. Nothing should be there. He's just taken a rook there. Look, just starting to get now. It's only a bishop up now. And how many pawns has he got for this? He's pulled it back. Bulanov's pulled it back. He's got what? I'm trying to count. He's got 2 pawns. Yeah, but this c6 pawn's also really weak, right? So he's got 3 pawns. He's got 3 pawns for the bishop. Exposed king.
Oh,
No, because he's going to have to take with the queen. So rook and bishop against rook. Oh no, we can't take with the queen. He can't take with the queen. Oh my days. He can't swap queens. This is the pawns are really good here as well. This could be it. Ah, it's such a sad move to play. He couldn't do queen takes queen here because of rook takes bishop check. There's a nice intermezzo. If it gets blocked, he'll just take it with the rook. So if the king moves, and then he'll just take the queen afterwards, and he's actually winning then. So here he's gone queen d2, which is really sad, and then queen c5. Look at this beautiful move, pinning the rook, threatening the bishop, dual purpose. Oh, king moves? What? Okay, that's it. Bulanov's going to win this. Turned it round. He's not going to let him back here. Let him back in it here. I'll just refresh it so we can watch it live.
Yeah.
Oh, decode. Decode's going to be out.
Yeah. Well, it's a shame because he played some good chess.
Do you know what it was? Do you know what it probably was? He was probably listening too much to the Twitch stream.
Yeah.
That's what he's probably done. Too much listening to the stream and not enough paying attention to closing out what should have been an easily won game. And yeah, I mean, the 4 against 1 pawn here, this should be quite routine for Bulanov to finish. Really, unfortunate that we didn't get to see that 4th game where Decode would have been able to put loads of pressure on Bulanov, because he would have been getting a little tense, Bulanov, because he really wants to make the final. He really wants to win this. You know, he's really into it, just like Pedrada and Welsh Tiger as well, and also like Decode. They're all wanting to win this, but I can't see him getting back into this now. This should be, unless there's some sort of stalemate trap or something like that. We should probably just flip back to the other main.
But even
match.
then, it's 2-0 at the moment, isn't it? So he needs the game.
Yeah, so he needs to win, and he's just not. I can't see a physical way to actually win that here. What on earth is going on here? Welsh Tiger versus Pedrada.
Look at the time.
Welsh Tiger's under big pressure. Look at this king. Look at this king compared to Black's king. What's happened here? Why is this king on c1? It's got only 1 pawn protecting it. There's a rook, bishop, queen, pawn around it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's checkmate.
Oh.
We came in just at the right moment as Pedrada takes a 2.5 half or 2-0 lead in this match. We just completely missed this game as we were distracted by Decode and Bulanov playing a fantastic match. So it's a Karo Khan. So this is the Karo Khan. This is actually what Bulanov plays as Black as well, mainly. So advanced variation, pretty critical stuff here. I don't know much of the theory myself, but this all looks pretty normal. B3 feels a bit weird. This is like this pawn here being attacked. It's quite a common idea, but B3 kind of weakens some dark squares. But it looks like the opening was a little bit better for Black because he got his knight into this square. And you just start to see some, like, he can't castle here, can he? You see this queen stopping this king castling?
Yeah.
Really common idea. So that's probably why he was forced to castle queen side.
Yeah.
And he does not want to castle the other side because there's like, the rooks can come to c8 and there's an open line against his king. But also this check, and he has to look with the knight. So just purely because of that, this happened. He's won a pawn, and you just see like that the rook's already come to this square. The bishop's lining himself up. This pawn on e4 is really good. Has Black's king been in any danger? And there's 2 pawns gone there, and I think he knew that the writing was on the wall for a long time, and he just gave up with checkmate. Okay, wow. So Pedrada in full control in this match. Actually, they've only got 1 more game to go, and Pedrada's 2-0 up, right? Yeah, so we'll see what happens in that last game. So let's just stick with Bulanov then to see if he can close out this, what should be a victory against Decode. Obviously, Decode is, how shall I say, he's trappy, isn't he, Decode? I feel like he's a trappy player. You know, he's
trying to do what he can, right? He wants to play it out.
He doesn't care. He just wants tricks and traps all over the place. And I have a feeling that this is going to be, you know, he's looking for those stalemate traps, but it's difficult to look for them when you've only got 10 seconds left, right? You know, it's not happening anymore. He needs to keep that pawn on the board to keep his king kind of trapped in. Bulanov's got a minute, you know, this should be it. Although I don't know how he's going to continue here, though, Bulanov. I'm just going to check the Discord as well, just to make sure that they do play that fourth game for Pedrada and Welsh Tiger, because yeah, they might think it's all over or something, you see. Yeah, the Black King's just too safe here. You can't stop the pawns. He's trying to keep his hopes alive. Do you know what, though? There is a funny story. So while this is completely one for Black, sometimes these rook and pawn enders can throw up some quite interesting kind of situations. And Bulanov was actually, he had a rook and 2 pawns against somebody he was playing against who had a rook and 1 pawn. So he was winning and he went on to lose it over the board. It was quite a key moment for him. And actually, it was a really painful loss for him because he was pushing to win all the way through and then managed to lose. And it was an over the board, long play game. Like we're talking 3 hours, 4 hours for the game. I think because of that pain of that loss, he's then put a lot of work into his end games. And I think Decode is unfortunately resigning here.
Yeah, it's so like with the, because you get like plus 5 seconds. Like in these situations, they just just go on and on for people trying to just find that competitive edge, or is it a case of at some point you just go, right, okay, it's a draw?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the level that you're playing against. So the beginner level, you play on until checkmate all the time. Here, here we probably could have resigned a bit sooner. But let's also put it out there that there were some stalemate traps there though that could have happened. So therefore, it was you play on. At this point, there's no point. It's not checkmate, but his queen's with check and he's about to take the rook as well. So you've got a candidate master's not going to stalemate you with a queen and rook against 2 pawns. It's just not going to happen. But like for example, can I maybe even artificially set up a kind of like a stalemate kind of idea? So like for example here actually, it was in this. Where is this rook ever got back? So for example here. Here, so we're going to rook down. Like if white maybe goes like pawn forward like this, and then black goes king e5, then rather amusingly, there's kind of like stalemate ideas along the lines of like rook check, king. Okay, the king could have come forward, but then you could go rook here. And if he takes the rook, it's his draw because the king can't move anywhere. The pawn covers here.
Right, yeah.
And then so actually you get this kind of idea where the king doesn't want to take it, but the rook just keeps chasing it around the board like this. It maybe didn't work in this position because I think the king can go forward, and then after rook here trying to sacrifice itself, which it can't take it because of the pawn anyway. You can't really go here check because we're not going to take it with the king. We could take it with the rook, and that wouldn't be stalemate anymore. The king can move. So there are certain situations where if you get your king stalemated, as long as you can't get checkmated, then the rook would. Then you just give up the rook in like quite a blasé way. Then you could do that.
I'm just gonna disappear for a second. Someone knocking my door, so
no problem.
I will be back straight away. So only a second.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens with Decode and Bulanov. They'll hopefully play one more game. But let me just make a note. Actually, where's my pen gone? So that was 3-0 to Bulanov. Okay, Decode, you should have won that one. But let's have a look at the analysis afterwards. We'll see on the replay. Okay, going back to Pedrada versus Welsh Tiger. They're playing the 4th game here. Pedrada's 2-0 up with 1 draw as well. So you get the Sicilian on the board from the Tiger. He's got to play to win. Black's got to win this, and this is a bit unusual. I've not seen this queen b6 move before. Obviously attacks the bishop. I'm wondering what the variation is here, though. Looks like they're both still in preparation now. And okay, black wins the bishop pair, but this is pretty standard. White's got massive development and loads of tempo attacking this queen when he develops his pieces. And it feels like this has gone a little bit wrong, really, for black. If white gets the attack here quickly, this could be over. I mean, f6.
White will have advantage on this as well, won't it? So Pedrada is going to be happy with that because he's got more wins coming in.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't even have to. He can bail out with a draw if need be. But this is maybe Welsh Tiger being a little bit little bit trolley perhaps in some respects. He's only got a queen and pawns out. Surprisingly, I think his position's actually fine. Right, I think his position's fine, but I think that he kind of knows that he has to do something a bit of fun, a bit unusual, just to maybe put Pedrada off his stride. Because so far when he's gone toe to toe with him, it's not worked, and he's been outplayed, especially in that last game when he was outplayed with the white pieces. You think about it, the first game with the white pieces, Welsh Tiger went to pawn up, was pushing for the most of the game. Okay, you might have lost those pawns later on and then had to save it. But with white, you really do want to push. And then the last game they just played before this, Welsh Tiger got absolutely steamrolled in that Caro-Kann opening. Pedrada's Caro-Kann just absolutely won in that game from the opening, and there was no coming back. He had to castle queenside, and he got slaughtered. Getting slaughtered as white is embarrassing. So here he's doing a few things differently. Like, moving the king to f7 actually probably isn't that bad a move. Actually, I quite like it. This is some of the stuff that I do online just to upset my opponent. Decode, if you could play one more game against Bulanov, that would be really useful for us, please. Although, yes, I appreciate it's not going to make a difference to the overall scoreline of who goes through, but it would just help us do the whole 4 games to be played, and you can do what you want maybe in the last game.
Like Decode, I think, obviously a bit upset with the results. Sort of looking at the chat, the Twitch chat coming in saying he's bad, but I think
bad.
his first season in, and I think hitting top 4 within the league, I think is a really good position to be in. And what we always say with the Welsh Esports League, and one of the good things about it is that it shouldn't always be about playing for the win. We're going to have different ranks and different things. And one of the great things about it is the way kind of structured is you're always playing for improvement. So this season, if you could hit third, fourth, next season, go for that 1-2, and then it's how you can improve then, sort of season on season, and getting more and more competitive. Either hitting that sort of keeping where you are, or seeing how you can improve then and sort of building that up.
Yeah, I mean, don't forget he's not finished 4th here. He's finished 3rd and 4th, right? There's no 3rd and 4th playoff, I believe.
There's no 3rd and 4th playoff, so it's 3rd and 4th.
Yeah.
So it'll be joint 3rd and 4th for it. And then we've got sort of the other side of it will be the championship finals, which we're playing for 5th, 6th.
Yeah. I'd also say, like, for Decode as well. I mean, he's been a bit of a revelation actually coming forward. He's engaged in Discord, and his team Wizards as well, engaged in the social media. I've never met him. I don't think I've met you in real life yet. Hopefully, when I travel down for some of the South Wales tournaments, hopefully say hi to you. And I'm pretty sure that the guys that you played will also want to say hi as well. And it's all about bringing that community in together and meeting new people. And he's had the opportunity to play Pedrada last week, and even though it wasn't a serious match in the end, he had the opportunity there to play against him, right, and learn some lessons. And here he played another master player in Bulanov, and you can look at these games and go, okay, where can I improve? And he's getting some quality chess now being played back at him. This is the level he's at. This is the level he's played against. If he wants to get up to that level, that's the difference. Literally, you can see the difference in the chess. And it's provided opportunities there for people to maybe play against each other who don't normally play against each other. And I'd like to see people of Decode's kind of ilk move forward. Actually, some of them, I want them to be challenging. For example, I say that Welsh Tiger is over in Greece right now. They're playing in the Euro Club Cup. Wales is actually, we've sent. We haven't sent. The clubs themselves have sent 4 separate Welsh teams over there of, I believe, 6 players each, which is that they've all
each?
kind of paid. Yeah, they've all, I think, paid out of their own pocket to go. So it's a bit of a holiday for them. I think many of them are either students or retired. Although, please don't quote me on that. Perhaps maybe I shouldn't have said that. But
or students and retired.
Yeah, students and retired. Yeah, I mean, for example, people who've got wives and we're kind of like middle aged, shall we say? It's a bit harder for us to go just for a nice holiday by ourselves. Maybe some of them have taken some of their girlfriends with them. I don't know, or wives, because it is quite a nice place to go, actually, isn't it? Whereas
Yeah, yeah.
if it was in somewhere maybe that wasn't as nice, would they still have gone? Is another question. But they're representing Wales. They're actually getting some good games in there. Actually, the first round, I think a team from Morriston actually got a win against a Finnish team, which was a bit of an upset in round one. So that was really good.
So how does the so if you're going out as like a team, how does the sort of the team structure, I guess, work there? In regards to, are you playing as like a team, or you just, is it like a points based system? So you play like 1v1 and each player wins a point, or is it
Yeah,
more of
yeah.
a
So it's still 1v1. It's still 1v1. So you get six players against six players. They all play. The top board plays against the top boards. Board two plays against board two. Six players. So it could be 6-0. It could be 3-3. It could be 3.5, 2.5, depending on the results on each one. So yeah, that's that tournament. It's kind of a little bit separate and from the because we also had the European, which is country specific and you have to be selected for. Whereas this is a team, and really anybody can
more
put a
club
team
based?
together. Yeah, anybody can kind of put a team together and go. And then they're all of a decent standard actually that have gone, and they should all hopefully get a few good scalps over there. But they are the underdogs. But everybody loves an underdog, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's a good thing. Well, and the one thing that's gutting about this tournament that's going on at the moment in Rhodes is that because they're on the low boards, none of their games are live online, so I haven't been able to watch the games. Whereas
Oh, that's a shame.
the top boards are all live. I was hoping if the Welsh Tiger was still playing to actually load his game up and show you, but of course he's finished already. But his game wasn't live anyway, which is a shame. But I mean, for example, there's the National League, which takes place in a couple of weekends' time, where it's called the 4NCL, the Four Nations Chess League, and that's over 8 boards. So you have 8 of our players against. I play for a team called the Audible Czechs, the same as Bulanov. So I should actually hopefully get a photo, me and Pedrada. Hopefully he's playing for his team, and we'll get a photo and make sure we tag people in it when we're over there. If anybody else is there, I don't think Bulanov's not there because I know he's in China still. Welsh Tiger don't think we'll be playing in it. Don't think anybody else from this group will be playing there.
Decode's just come in chat and said, Yaz met you once in real life. So there has been a sort of a chance meeting at one point.
Oh, really?
But yeah, he said you lent your pen in the Welsh Open, and it was their first classical tournament.
Oh, really?
So you have crossed paths once in real life, but yeah, you never know. There might be more opportunities to do it as it goes.
Oh, wow. I remember the incident, but I don't really remember the conversation. And that's me bringing the spare pen, by the way, because I'm prepared, right? Which is quite unlike me usually. Usually I've only got one pen, but oh, good. Well, good. It was something that I did nice for you as well. But it's one of those things though where we look at the community in Welsh chess, and at Easter, when we have the Welsh Championships, it's obviously it's in North Cardiff, but we kind of all central around that area. I even organised a kind of little social gathering for on the Saturday night, because on the Sunday we normally play 2 games a day, which are the first games really early. But on the Sunday, because it was there's only 7 games in the 4 days, that's when we have the later games. So the Sunday morning we can have a bit of a lie-in. So on the Saturday night we can kind of meet up and get together socially, meet up with loads of different people that are trying to run things in Welsh chess. So, for example, we had Not Again 61. He's actually done a load of great work in Fishguard, setting up a chess club. He's also set up, just recently set up a chess club in Haverford West as well. And then I was able to meet up with loads of people from Swansea, loads of people from Pembrokeshire as well, who've set up some junior chess and adult chess clubs over there, and really get to talk to them to see what can we do to communicate better and do more for chess across the country. Because I think it's an untapped resource, and nobody mentioned esports at the time, though, John. There was so I'm really
opportunity.
Yeah, there's always opportunities we don't know about, and really happy to be doing this. I just want to say, by the way, look at this game. Welsh Tiger has played unconventionally. I like his position.
Yeah, well, the only thing which I was looking at is rook from white side, rook to f1, and then potentially like push in the check. I know you've got the bishop there, but sort of looking then at bringing that queen in.
Yeah, there's the bishop and knight defending at the moment, so you'd have to kick the knight, which is unlikely because the bishop and
Well,
queen lined up here. You can't
you
really
can,
play h3.
but can you move the queen up now and then you because you're going to be covered by the bishop. So if you move the queen to was it g5? Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, it's I quite like Black's position. You generally want this actually. Look, this is great for people to see. You know, your bishops and are looking. Okay, that diagonal line is not a good diagonal line there. Your bishops are kind of looking down this way. If they can stop moving and just and I can get my arrows right. What's going on? This is because I'm using a touchpad. Hopefully by when we run it again, I'll have a mouse and the computer set up. But your bishops and your actually, your bishops and your rooks looking down at the white king. This is extremely dangerous. And you've got your knight in for close quarters combat. Your king was here and it's just kind of moved out of the way. I really like this from the Welsh Tiger. I think this has gone really well. And look at Pedrad this time. He's got half as much as Welsh Tiger here. Welsh Tiger's really putting it to him. I like this. I like it. I like it a lot. I've just seen... I think I've just seen in chats that Decode and Bullinov are playing their 4th game as well at the moment.
Yeah. In Discord, it looks like it looks like they're trying to play it. So yeah, that'll be good to see.
Put watch on that one just so we've got it loaded. I know that Bullinov will be thinking, "Well, I'm 3-0 up. I don't really need to try," but he will be trying. He won't be giving up on this one. But I want to stick with the Welsh Tiger. I quite like how he's changed his style, right? And sometimes if it's not working, you do need to make these decisions. You can't just keep doing the same thing.
One thing, which is you get stuck in this thing is especially with where Black is sort of set up, is you're in a position like this, which you're in a really nice position and you're happy with it, and then you've got to move, and you're kind of in the situation where you're going, well, anything I move ends up putting me in a worse position than I actually am. And even with White moving and sort of trying to change stuff, when you're in a sort of a good position like he is, then now you can sort of do it.
Well, your rook came to f1 like you liked, but Pedrad has brought a knight in, so there's some threats here as well. Just come in and see this rook.
Discover. So
yeah, something like this or this maybe, and the pawn can't take it because the rook would be attacking the king. So maybe the king will just run away, somewhere like e8 or something like that now maybe. So kind of like back here. The reason why I didn't pick e7 is because the queen would actually be pinning the pawn then, which is just maybe a little bit uncomfortable. I still feel like, Welsh Tiger's well in advance here. We've got Pedrada down to under 2 minutes as well. He's really good at fast chess though, so don't let that. You don't try and beat people on time when they're low on time here, because we can play with 5. Even if we have like 5 seconds left, we can play with 5-second increment. It's the wrong time to do it. If we get to an Armageddon though, where there's no increment, then you can try and blitz people on time. Or if you're Jordan Carroll, who did it to not again 61 in round 1 with the wrong time control. Sorry again to not again 61. You got so unlucky there. I think he's buying them a pint though. I think they're called mates, so I think it was smoothed over. I think it's all right. They're all good guys, to be fair.
From a white side, your next move is looking at that knight, right? Knight to e5.
Maybe this if we want to remove the bishop, but I don't think there's any point in going knight g5 check because
the thing is away. Yeah, but with that as well, we would move his knight because you can attack from was it g4?
Yeah, well, we don't know if we take back with the queen or the knight. We don't know which one. But I think that with the dark square bishop removed, it means that this dark square bishop would actually become much more powerful. So you can see it moving to one of these 2 squares. So I think the reason why we're stuck here is because Welsh Tiger is just kind of deciding, what do I do next? I've got a good position. Pedrada's just kind of edging out, like trying to solve his problems here. And it's just a case of Welsh Tiger's thinking, I'm good, but how good am I? Right? Can I win something? Can I turn my positional advantage into a material advantage, which I can then win the game from? Because at the moment, position, having a good position, it doesn't win games at that point. You've got to convert it into something that's physical, tangible, that you can reach, and that you can then go and promote an extra pawn in an end game, or whatever it is. You've got to turn it into some sort of material, or even a super long-term positional advantage. You see here, he's gone back to E8, and I don't know. I think Pedrada is starting to sort out his issues here. I really do. It's quite complicated though. So, like for example, if he takes this knight here on c3, you could be forgiven and thinking, oh, maybe we can take this pawn on e4 now afterwards. But the problem is he takes back with the rook. You can't take the pawn on e4 because, well, you lose your queen. So it's little things like that that they're quite technical, and there's a lot of them in there. But it's okay. So this knight did take this bishop in the center, and okay, look at that. And not wanting to allow this bishop to come to here or here afterwards, he's then gone and done knight takes bishop. So we're getting some really complex calculation here. I don't know how I feel about that move actually. If this was planned by Welsh Tiger, this is complications. And one thing we know about Pedrada, minute and a half left or not, he's still really good at complications and complicated positions. It's what he likes. I know he's good in all positions, of course, but whenever I look at his over the board games, I always look at it and think, what a mess. Where's my order? I like order, and control. And I look at his positions, and he's like, they can check me a million times. I've got it all planned out, and he just calculates his way through it. Whereas I wouldn't allow the check in the first place. I'd have more control over it. So this is what we're starting to get towards a mess here, and this is Pedrada's wheelhouse. But I mean, Welsh Tiger's still just as good. He's really good, really good player. But is this the fourth game for them? Yeah, it's fourth game for them, and
fourth game, yeah,
fourth and last game as well, I think, because it was the in the qualifying stages, was it best of 3 is what we put up?
Yes, best of 3. Yeah.
So that was 2 games of 10+5, and then the Armageddon was the decider. So this is best of 5, which is 10+5 for 4 games, and then if we needed the decider for Armageddon, it would be that. But this isn't going to need the decider of Pedrada 2 up already, is it? So okay, we just saw a pawn being taken here. So white has broken through. He's got a bit of an issue with this rook being pinned by the queen, but he's going to be able to defend that, and I can't see a way for black to attack it again. Or is he? Actually, it's quite weird, right? Because actually, I don't like rook f3, but this queen can't actually check this black king at all. Maybe black's got some sort of like h4 kind of stuff going on. Maybe black's attack is actually coming now. Maybe it's taken that pawn being lost for black's attack to actually be realized, because we still have this bishop looking down here. We still have the queen doing the dart square diagonal control. We still have both rooks looking down, and now the pawn's joining the party. This extra pawn that white's got is not counting at this moment in time. I would not want to be Pedrada right now, especially with 27 seconds left. But it's like one of those where I can't quite see the breakthrough for black. I can see some checks, but I can't see much else. And maybe he can just take on c2 here then. Maybe he just takes this with the rook. Oh no, he can't. Queen here check. It's going to pick up the rook. This is tense. Just check. Did these guys start their game? This is Bulanov against Decode.
Yeah,
they're starting okay, and Decode looks like he's a pawn up there, but still with plenty to do. Okay, let's stick with this one. For Pedrada down to under 10 seconds now. You're going to see some quality fast play right now, John. at least I hope so. Now I
hope so. Or he just does. 12 seconds gone. He got up.
Yeah, he loses his internet connection and just loses. That did actually happen in the online Olympiads. I think it was India against somebody, and India's internet connection just went across the entire area and country that they were in, and so they lost all the games in the online Olympiads. This was over COVID, and so I think the FIDE president had to step in and go, look, we're going to reward gold to both teams, because it was just like an act of like they couldn't do anything. But it does happen sometimes in online tournaments. But okay, yeah, Pedrada's really not liking this. You just can't bet against him though, right? He's fighting all the time, and might be an awkward position, but
He's going to have to move his king, no?
yeah, his queen's under attack,
Okay.
but he might want to give a check first, and then move his queen. Okay, he's giving a check with the queen, which is expected. So Pedrada would have expected this, So I expect Pedrada to make all of these moves and not lose on time. That's easy to defend. So I think you can just, Welsh Tiger win the pawn back here and maybe have a slightly better endgame. Yeah, I'd swap the queens off. Now the queens are off, there's less checkmate threats. And it's back to equality because black won that pawn. The bishop should be slightly better than the knight here because of the open board. There's not many pawns in the center. But Pedrada's king now is safe. Right? He was worried about losing the game there and then. Now he's got to this point, he's actually quite happy. And we're going to see something kind of that repeat of that first game, where they had like a rook and bishop each and some pawns. It's going to go on like that. This is mental. What was it? 38 minutes for their first game?
I think it was 38 minutes.
Right, we might have to have a ban on these two players again, playing against each other. Or we change the time control.
John, or we change the time control. Yeah. So we still have an extra 5 seconds.
Yeah.
So, go on. Sorry.
No. I was going to say maybe we have shorter time control, but maybe more matches or something like that.
Oh, fair. Yeah. Would you look to trade out rooks here at all?
If I was white, I'd be happy to take all 4 rooks off the board because you look at where the black rooks are. The black rooks have kind of invaded, like especially this rook on the back rank. But it's almost like at this moment in time, though, they can't do anything. They can't attack anything. There's no real weakness. Like this G3 pawn here, it's going to be easy to defend for white with the rooks. The king's not really under massive attack. These pawns over on the queen side are actually quite stable. Yeah, I mean, I think the exchange of rooks helps black because the bishop will be slightly better than the knight. But it's only going to be marginal. It's not going to be by much at all. It really is a bit of a coin flip, to be honest, at this moment in time. I can maybe see at some point, something happening where white gives up the knight for a few pawns here, just to close out the game to a draw. But knowing Pedrada, he'll want to win this somehow. He'll be looking for a win here. He won't want. Is he up on time now? How has that happened?
Yeah. Well, yeah. He's gone from 12 seconds up to 30 seconds.
Yeah. This is why we're here. We're going to be here till 10 o'clock. But no, we'll be finished before 9.
Well, yeah. Considering we only had 3 games which we actually covered, there's been a lot of good chess, which is good.
Yeah, high quality chess as well. And we still got this match. Okay, Bulanov against Decode. This is opposite color bishops. This is just a draw, right? Nobody's going to win this one, so they've agreed a draw just as we clicked onto it. Thanks very much, guys. That was perfect time, and it's almost like you were watching the stream at that point. So Bulanov wins that one 3.5 or 3-0. Fantastic time, and Bulanov goes through to the final, and he's representing the Sea Dragons, who I know have been quite vocal about him, but also Decode, fantastic player of the tournament so far, definitely in the group stages, winning all his matches there, and playing for the Wizards, and doing them really proud. And I'd like to see you playing in next season as well. Can't wait to actually meet you in real life as well. Actually have a conversation with you too. I speak to Bulanov all the time, you see, so it's nice to meet new people and just see what we can do about chess. Get a bit of excitement around it, and when you go to these tournaments and more people, there's a better atmosphere, a better feeling. And we went to when Pedrada came over, and me, Bulanov, Welsh Tiger, there was a couple of others. When you all know each other, we're actually all in the Olympiad team in Budapest last year. We had a fantastic time together because we got on well. Great team ethos, and that's why they're playing in this now, because I just say I'm putting this on. Would like you to play. I think you'll also have a good time, and they're just like, yeah, sure. It's great. Well, if they can get a bit of fame and earn some pocket change as well while playing, why not? They enjoy playing chess at the same time.
Yeah, no, it's good to see, and yeah, like the plan is, hopefully we can keep growing the league, keep getting momentum. It might even be opportunities that we can do some joint events as well. Esports in one room, chess in the other room, or chess esports. Even
Yeah,
though I always find this a bit of a strange one when you're doing online chess and it's physical.
yeah, it's weird,
I,
but they did do it though, didn't they? They did do it.
they have done it,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
they've done it. They've done it quite a lot actually, and produced some quiet moments here. But did Pedrada win a pawn there somewhere along the lines? Because
Yeah,
he's
he's
a
won it.
pawn up now. I tell you, he never gives up. You know, you think you put him down, and he just keeps getting back up again. And that's one thing. If you read, for those watching, if you read my reports on the games, a lot of the good players were in bad positions, and yet they fought and fought and fought and found the hardest way for their opponents to continue, or gave themselves extra chances to win, and that's why they didn't lose in the group stages. They didn't lose many games, and this is again, you thought Pedrada was down, and to be fair to Welsh Tiger, the opening that he played, I thought was really right for the situation. Played some fantastic chess, but couldn't find that killer blow because Pedrado was just would not die. And here he is taking himself through to the final in style if he converts this into a win. Still difficult though. Welsh Tiger might hold this.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah, pawn was it e4? Oh no, there you go.
yeah, I mean, I
Trade for
think
that.
Black does want to push this pawn. You're absolutely spot on. But I was a bit surprised that Pedrada swapped off there because he would have wanted to maybe win the pawns outright. But although,
Yeah.
is that won or lost that end game? There's an end game here that could happen. I think it might be one for white if he goes for it. But it's very, very close. He's chose not to. So the end game here was this is like specific end games at the end when we got a few pieces on the board that we learn off by heart. So the idea here was that after King D4, if he does Rook takes B5, and then let's say I want to do King takes, this King now is actually going to be cut off by the White Rook from getting the cross, and it can't help stop the pawn. So for example, King over, we'd actually now go King over now, and this Rook cuts off the King. The pawn advances with the king, and that's going to be one for white if the pawn's so far advanced. But he decided not to play that, and he went this way. And we're in this position here. I'm going to just refresh because there's still going to be loads more moves to play here at this point. And yeah, the black king's too far away. This is going to be a win for Pedrada. Or have I spoke too soon? Has he got checks from the front? I'm trying to do this while watching. Pedrada's got 10 seconds left now. Trying to do this. They might go from drawn to one here with every move that's played. It is so close. Yeah, he went for the Oh. So Welsh Tiger should not have brought his king over then because there's no point. He can't get any further. He's not close enough. He's not close enough. Oh, that just loses instantly. Game over. And Pedrada wins. Pedrada wins 3.5 to half, 3-0. Pedrada goes through to the finals against Bulanov.
Yeah. It should be a good final.
Should be an amazing final, and I know that Bulanov will have to do some preparation for it as well. But some fantastic chess being played as well. Where are we actually? Yeah, we're back to this one. Yeah, final thoughts, John, on what you've just witnessed.
Well, I think it's been good games. I think one of the things which we could have, I guess, from the group stages, which we had a bit more of sort of today, was closer games, or felt closer games. You know, a lot, even though it was, as you said, like 3.5, they felt a lot closer. And yeah, sort of for the we didn't get the games or so much of the games in the championship playoffs, which that's probably on us on communication side. But it'll be interesting to see how those go, and it's going to be really interesting to see how that kind of levels up and how it moves on. Really, I'm thinking Wolfhounds for the finals.
It's Wolfhounds against Seadron. Wolfhounds against
No,
Sea
I mean
Dragons.
Wolfhounds to win. I'm thinking
right?
yeah.
So that's your money.
But that's what I'd be sort of looking at for it. But yeah, there's been some like really interesting games, and I'm really interested to see sort of also the championship side when those games can happen. So we can get that finals as well going on next week. So you'll still be covering pretty much the same 2 games, same sort of format, and then sort of how we can learn from it to continue that development and sort of next time, do we add more players? Do we add a different variation to it? Maybe you as a team, there's 2 players playing for a club rather than just one. So then that adds in a bit of a point side of going, well, this could go either way because of their points, and another way to do it. So it's I think it's been some really interesting games, and I think for the first one we've done, like considering like I could play chess, but I probably haven't played chess in I don't know 10 years or something silly like that. So even for myself, it's got me back into chess. And before the game, one of the things which I sort of sent to you, someone asking when's chess going to be streamed, and are we going to be streaming it tonight? And just having that shows that there's an interest in it growing. Because if there's one person doing it, I'm sure there's a lot more in Wales that just don't know there's that opportunity yet, and we can grow it and continue to that development. So I think it's going to be an interesting final. My guess will be on Wolfhounds taking it, but I think it's been an interesting tournament so far. Really, I'd like to see how it's developed, and it's been good casting and learning from yourself.
I mean, I've done streaming before, but I've never had shall we say, a professional setup. It's kind of more being ad hoc or ever like paying a little bit of money for some website to do it easy for me or something like that. So I'm well up for learning some more stuff. We're going to be streaming Nick Cars UK. We're going to be streaming this time next week between 7 o'clock to cover the final matches for chess. And that'll be the last one for a while, I guess, on this channel. But I've really enjoyed covering this, John. I think it's really good and really open as well to what we think, but also what the rest of your team think, what the players think would make it actually a better spectacle as well. Because we really want to bring chess into this kind of arena and maximize the opportunity for it, add to the Welsh esports, but also if other people want to play more chess and get into it, then that's great. I think there's so many different combinations that we can do to change it up as well. More players per team, maybe even have one of those has to be under a certain rating or something like that. It's just to bring more different people into it rather than or teams paying loads of money for the top players in Wales. You could change it so much. You could make it like let's say 10 games of 3-minute blitz or something crazy with no increment, and then you're going to get some really fast play and some real upsets. You could do absolutely anything with this. It's a real big opportunity, and I can't wait to see the final. Can't wait to speak to the guys in real life as well to see what they think about it too.
Yeah, sounds good. Awesome. So I guess that's it from us this week. Tune in next week and catch the Welsh Esports League, and we'll have hopefully 2 finals for you.
Thanks very much, everybody. Bye bye.
Cheers all.